Hola, buenos días. Hoy es día 23, day 23, 23. Hoy quiero contarte una historia. Contar means to count, 1, 2, 3. But contar also means to tell. So contarte una historia is to tell you a story. And the story is called ¿Por qué no te callas? It's a story that took place en el año 2007. The people in the story are Hugo Chavez, who was el presidente de Venezuela from 1999 until 2013, when he died. And he was a socialista. He had massive oil revenue and he spent that on la vivienda housing, la vivienda, alimentación, food for la población, on la sanidad, which is health. You can see that, a sanatorium, sanidad, health, y la educación. So he was a socialista, and he was also populista, and he also liked to hablar mucho. So he was at the summit. He was la historia takes place at a summit, un cumbre, entre España, Portugal y las naciones de América Latina. So el presidente de España was there, or prime minister. At the time it was a man called Zapatero. And Zapatero had irritated Chávez because he had said, your policies are keeping foreign capital out of America Latina because you're nationalizing things, you're scaring off foreign investors. So that had irritated Chávez. The King of Spain, el Rey de España. So rey is the word for king. And you can think a king reigns, the reign of King George or whatever. So it comes from the same Latin root. Perdón. So el Rey de España was there too, as well as all the other presidentes. And Hugo Chavez was interrupting Zapatero. It was Zapatero, the Prime Minister of Spain, it was his turn to hablar. But he had irritated Chavez. So Chavez was interrupting him. Interrumpe. To such an extent that the organizers of El Cumbre had turned off his micrófono. So Chavez is there with his micrófono turned off. Remember, this story is called ¿Por qué no te callas? Which means, why don't you shut up? ¿Por qué no te callas? A little bit more background for you. The Prime Minister of España before Zapatero was a man called Aznar. And en el año 2002, in the year 2002, in 2002, Aznar had supported un golpe de Estado, a coup, a hit on the state, un golpe de Estado in Venezuela to try to remove Presidente Hugo Chavez because he was too socialista. So Aznar, el presidente de España, at the time in 2002, supported el golpe de Estado. Hugo Chavez was having a go at Zapatero, telling him to tell Aznar to respect Venezuela. Now, telling someone to tell someone, to me, it's a bit playground. It's what happens in a playground, not what happens in an international summit of heads of state. Never mind. It was Zapatero's turn to hablar. And every time he tried to hablar, Hugo Chavez is saying, tell Aznar to respect Venezuela. He's saying, dígale, which means tell him, dígale lo mismo a él. Tell him that. Lo mismo means the same. A él means to him. So he's saying, tell him that to him. There's like a repetition of itself. Dígale lo mismo a él. And Zapatero's saying, of course, just trying to hablar. Zapatero intenta hablar. Intenta means to try. Zapatero intenta hablar. And he says, por supuesto. Por supuesto means of course. For supposed. Take it for supposed. Of course. Por supuesto. Dígale lo mismo a él, Chávez. Por supuesto, Zapatero. Dígale lo mismo a él. Por supuesto. Y Zapatero intenta hablar. But he doesn't manage to talk because Chávez keeps interrupting. Dígale lo mismo a él. And then, el incidente. El Rey de España, who isn't even meant to talk, leans forward to Chávez and says, ¿Por qué no te callas? Gracias a Dios. Thank God. Chávez didn't hear him. No le oyó. Gracias a Dios. But el incidente is already grande. Fue un incidente grande. Y la reacción en América Latina fue lots and lots of merchandise. They made camisetas with ¿Por qué no te callas? Why don't you shut up? They made bufandas, which are scarves, with ¿Por qué no te callas? The ringtone más popular was la voz del Rey de España, saying ¿Por qué no te callas? ¿Por qué no te callas? Was a complete loss of paciencia del parte del rey. And he used the tu form, which is a form that you use to niños. So it's interrumpir, to interrupt, representa una falta de respeto. It represents a lack. Una falta is a lack. So interrumpir representa una falta de respeto. Usar tú, meaning you, instead of usted, like your majesty, like formally, but it's the respectful way to say you. So using tú instead of usted representa una falta de respeto. Y ¿por qué no te callas? Why don't you shut up? Una falta completa de respeto. Bueno, el fin de la historia es en 2008. Hugo Chavez visitó a España y visitó al Rey de España en su palacio. Perdón. Y el rey gave him una camiseta, gave him a t-shirt with ¿Por qué no te callas? And Hugo Chavez, he imitated the voice, so he imitó la voz del rey and said, ¿Por qué no nos vamos a la playa? Why don't we go to the beach? ¿Por qué no nos vamos a la playa? I think it's a nice story. Me gusta la historia. Do you like the story? Did you like that? ¿Te gustó? En mi opinión, it's nice just to relajar and absorber un poco de español. So I hope that you have enjoyed that today. And I hope that you might remember some of the phrases. Maybe you'll remember ¿Por qué no te callas? Which is what I'm going to do now, but come back mañana. Mañana, I'm going to talk about asking someone their name and what do you do when you forget their name. So come back mañana. It's a lovely lesson mañana, and I'll see you there. Adios.